Imagine flipping through the pages of a book, only to uncover a hidden treasure, a collection of ancient stories about unshakable faith, self-sacrifice, and divine miracles, concealed in texts that most Christians today have never had the chance to explore. These aren't just ordinary tales, they are vivid accounts from a dark chapter in history, where faith and loyalty were tested in the fires of oppression and conflict. Missing from most mainstream Christian Bibles, these stories are preserved within the sacred texts of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Welcome to the Books of Maccabees, 3 powerful and meaningful writings that form a lesser-known part of the Old Testament, filled with incredible tales of courage and the strength of belief. The Books of Maccabees recount the stirring story of the Jewish people, who fought relentlessly to preserve their faith and identity in the face of an empire bent on erasing their existence. These texts are profound and moving works of literature, often excluded from the versions of the Bible many of us are familiar with. They contain epic battle scenes, moments of divine intervention, and powerful images of unwavering devotion to faith in the face of death. The stories within these books offer invaluable inspiration for anyone seeking a faith that is both steadfast and enduring. Through fierce struggles and profound sacrifices, these pages present a new perspective on biblical history, one that could completely transform how we understand the power and significance of faith. But you might wonder, why were such important and inspiring books removed? Could they hold secrets or aspects of faith that we've overlooked for centuries? Do the Books of Maccabees carry messages that still resonate today, messages that could stir our spirits and rekindle our faith? In this journey, we will take a deep dive into each of the Books of Maccabees, gradually uncovering unforgettable stories, from miraculous victories in battle to martyrs who faced death with unshakable belief. Together, we'll turn the pages of these heroic accounts, discovering valuable lessons on resilience and loyalty, qualities that challenge traditional interpretations of the Bible and the true meaning of devotion. If these powerful and inspiring stories spark your curiosity, join us as we step into the vibrant and emotional world of these forgotten texts. Leave a comment below if you'd like us to explore each book further, and be sure to check out our previous videos on other banned books from the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible. These works, alongside the Books of Maccabees, are essential pieces of faith and history, opening a profound spiritual realm where sacrifice and devotion endure for eternity. The first Book of Maccabees begins in a period of immense hardship and turmoil, when Jewish traditions and beliefs were under relentless attack. Set in the 2nd century BCE, this book immerses us in a dark chapter of history, where the Jewish people were faced with a challenge that seemed impossible to overcome under the rule of Antiochus IV Epiphanes. Antiochus was more than just a foreign ruler, he was a determined force, bent on erasing the identity and faith of the Jewish people. His goal was clear: to replace Judaism with Greek customs and pagan rituals. His army desecrated the sacred temple in Jerusalem, a central spiritual place for the Jews, by performing pagan sacrifices inside its holy walls. For the Jews, this was not just an offense, it was a deep wound to their faith and way of life, forcing them to make an existential choice: abandon their beliefs or face death. Amid this storm of oppression, a spark was ignited that led to one of the most heroic resistances in Jewish history. The catalyst for this rebellion was a single act of defiance by a Jewish priest named Mattathias. When ordered by the king to perform a pagan sacrifice, Mattathias refused. But his defiance didn't end there. He took a bold stand that sent shockwaves through his community. In a moment of righteous fury, Mattathias not only defied the king's order but also struck down the official sent to enforce it. This act was more than just rebellion, it became a rallying cry, urging all Jews to rise up and defend their faith. Mattathias's refusal to comply and his willingness to fight for his beliefs became the spark that ignited a full-scale revolt. After Mattathias's death, leadership passed to his son, Judas Maccabeus, who would become a legendary military leader, his name echoing through history. Known as the Hammer, Judas led a small but fiercely loyal group of fighters. Despite facing a much larger and better-equipped army, Judas and his followers won victory after victory, defying all odds. They faced a seasoned and well-equipped force, yet, with brilliant strategy and an unshakable belief in divine support, they managed to drive back Antiochus's forces. These victories were not just military successes, they were seen as miraculous interventions, signs that God was on their side in their fight to preserve their faith. Each victory strengthened their resolve, proving that faith, combined with courage, could triumph over overwhelming odds. The story of Judas and his band of fighters echoes tales from other parts of the Bible, such as the victory of Gideon, where a small, faithful army overcame a powerful enemy through trust in God. For the Jewish people of that time, these stories were not merely historical accounts, they were powerful reminders of the strength of faith and the divine protection promised to those who remained steadfast. Judas's triumphs were inspirational, reinforcing the belief that when the people of God stand united in faith, they can withstand even the greatest threats. The significance of the first book of Maccabees goes far beyond the battles and bloodshed. It is a powerful testament to resilience and the strength of faith in the face of adversity. In a world where abandoning their beliefs could have ensured their safety, the Maccabean fighters chose the more difficult path, fiercely defending their identity and heritage against the encroaching force of Hellenization. These weren't just military clashes, they were profound spiritual struggles, fought to preserve the sanctity of their faith and the unity of their community. This story of defiance and ultimate victory, as told in the first book of Maccabees, became a beacon of hope and inspiration, reminding us that faith can stand firm against any empire, no matter how powerful. It is a narrative that holds deep meaning, offering the hope that divine support is always near for those who choose to live with unwavering belief. In the second book of Maccabees, faith reaches a new pinnacle as the martyrs stand ready to face death, holding firm in their belief in the afterlife and resurrection. One of the most touching stories is that of a mother and her 7 sons, all of whom refused to abandon their faith despite enduring brutal torture. This mother not only remains resolute but also encourages her sons to remain steadfast, trusting that God will reward them in the life to come. Her act is not only one of courage, but also a powerful affirmation of belief in resurrection and eternal reward. The concept of resurrection, which is only briefly mentioned in many mainstream scriptures, becomes a central theme in the second book of Maccabees. The belief that the righteous will be resurrected and receive their reward predates many of the ideas found in the New Testament, where resurrection is a cornerstone of Christian faith. The sacrifices of the martyrs in this book foreshadow the early Christian martyrs, who also saw their deaths as victories due to their faith in resurrection. Beyond the accounts of the martyrs, the second book of Maccabees also records moments of divine intervention on the battlefield. One of the most striking scenes involves 5 angels appearing on brilliant horses, protecting Judas and his army from danger. This supernatural intervention is not only a symbol of God's protection, but also a reminder that He is always ready to assist those who rise up for justice and faith. The courage displayed by the mother and her sons becomes a powerful rallying cry for the Jewish people, igniting their resolve to resist oppression. Their unwavering faith serves as a testament to the strength found in belief, inspiring others to face their fears and challenges head-on. As the story unfolds, the theme of faith in the face of adversity becomes more pronounced, illustrating how belief can have a profound impact in moments of despair. Through these stories, the second book of Maccabees emphasizes the importance of faith, community, and the hope of resurrection, reinforcing the notion that even in the darkest times, divine support and the promise of eternal life can provide the strength needed to endure and overcome. The sacrifices of the martyrs not only affirm their faith, but also lay the foundation for future generations to hold fast to their beliefs, no matter the cost. The third book of Maccabees takes us to Egypt, where the Jewish community faces oppression under the rule of King Ptolemy IV. This is not just a physical trial, but also a profound test of the faith and spiritual strength of the Jewish people. After failing to desecrate the temple in Jerusalem, Ptolemy seeks revenge on the Jews in Egypt by gathering and publicly executing them. In this moment of peril, the Jewish community does not give in. Instead, they turn to prayer and fasting, hoping for divine intervention. Faced with this threat, the Jewish people show remarkable resilience by turning to prayer and fasting. This act is not just a desperate gesture, but a powerful display of unity and commitment to their faith. They understand that in times of hardship, relying on spiritual strength and faith is the only way to overcome the challenges they face. In a miraculous turn of events, the massive elephants that Ptolemy intended to use for executing the Jews instead turn on his own army. This event not only shocks Ptolemy's forces, but also reignites hope within the Jewish community. The elephants, traditionally symbols of power and authority, become instruments of God's deliverance, echoing other miraculous acts in the Bible, such as when God parted the Red Sea to save the Israelites from Pharaoh's army. The story of God's deliverance in the third book of Maccabees is not merely a miraculous event, it serves as a testament to God's protection, no matter the enemies or the geography. Ptolemy, like other kings and rulers who challenged God throughout the scriptures, learns a valuable lesson: no earthly power can withstand the protection of the Almighty. His experience serves as a reminder that God's intervention can upend even the most formidable human plans. As the elephants turned against Ptolemy's forces, it became a clear sign of divine retribution, compelling the king to acknowledge God's supremacy. Humiliated by his defeat, Ptolemy ultimately recognized God's power and issued a decree allowing the Jewish people in Egypt to freely practice their faith. This decree not only affirmed the rights of the Jewish community but also demonstrated the immense power of faith in achieving freedom and deliverance. The narrative in the third book of Maccabees transcends historical recounting. It offers timeless lessons relevant to modern life. It emphasizes the importance of faith and divine intervention during challenging times and highlights the role of persistent prayer and steadfast belief. Furthermore, it reveals that even when individuals feel powerless, salvation can arise from the most unexpected sources. The Jewish community depicted in this story shows that faith is not merely an individual sentiment but a collective force. When people unite, supporting one another in faith, they can bring about miraculous changes in their lives. This account also serves as a reminder that God is ever present, even amidst adversity, and He possesses the power to transform seemingly impossible situations into opportunities for salvation. The third book of Maccabees is a vivid testament to the power of faith and divine intervention. The story of the Jews in Egypt illustrates that, no matter the challenges faced, unwavering faith and resilience can overcome any obstacle. It inspires future generations, reminding us that deliverance can manifest through miraculous means beyond our comprehension. Through these pages, we not only learn about history but also about the value of faith and the strength of community in overcoming adversity. The three books of Maccabees offer powerful stories of perseverance, unshakable faith, and divine intervention. From the fierce victories on the battlefield to the courage shown by the martyrs and God's protection of His people in distant lands, these texts serve as a profound reminder that God is always present in times of struggle, ready to intervene when His followers remain faithful. These stories not only influenced early Christian thought, but also stand as a compelling testimony that no challenge is beyond God's power to overcome. These texts are not just historical accounts, they are sources of inspiration for those seeking strength in their faith. The Maccabean Revolt is more than just a conflict, it represents the triumph of human determination and God's protection against every form of danger. The martyrs in the second book are not mere historical figures, they symbolize the victory of spirit over suffering, offering a powerful message of courage and conviction. Additionally, the miraculous deliverance of the Jewish people in Egypt, as recorded in the third book, underscores that, no matter where we are, God's protection is always available to those who remain loyal to Him. For centuries, these stories have been a wellspring of hope for believers, reinforcing the enduring truth that God is always by our side, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable trials. If the stories of miracles, deliverance, and unwavering faith have captured your interest, there is much more to discover in other overlooked biblical texts. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church's Bible contains not only the three books of Maccabees, but also fascinating writings like the Book of Enoch, the Book of Jubilees, and others, which have been excluded from many other Christian Bibles. These texts provide a richer, more profound understanding of faith, revealing how God has continuously intervened in the lives of His people throughout history. Take the time to share these stories and explore more of the spiritual and historical treasures found within the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible. These ancient narratives not only deepen our faith, but also offer new perspectives on God's ever-present care and protection, teaching us that He is always attentive to those who approach Him with steadfast belief.